Listen closely now, let the stillness amplify the sound that isn't quite sound, a vibration deep within your soul, a whisper carried not on air, but on the very currents of divine truth. It resonates within you, a frequency of revelation turning the world you knew inside out. Feel it, that sensation, like cold, dry scales flaking away from your eyes, not gently, but ripped free. The comfortable twilight you lived in is gone, shattered by a light so fierce, so pure, it feels almost terrible in its clarity. What was hidden, deliberately shrouded in the soft, familiar shadows of everyday life, now stands stark and undeniable. Your sister. The word itself used to be a comfort, a warm space in your heart. She was the repository of your secrets, the witness to your unfiltered self, your silly laughter, your midnight tears, the quiet dreams and fears tucked away in the most vulnerable corners of your soul. You believed she was your anchor, your closest confidant, your truest ally in the tumultuous journey of life. But the divine whisper echoes the devastating truth: she never was. From the very beginning, before you even understood the concept of loyalty, her allegiance was pledged elsewhere. Her heart, her actions, her very presence in your life were bound by chains forged in darkness, commitments made long before you could comprehend them. Every secret you whispered into the supposed safety of her ear, every vulnerability you laid bare thinking you were strengthening your bond, was meticulously gathered. Like a spy in the heart of your own life, she collected intelligence, cataloging your weaknesses, your pressure points, your breaking points. These details weren't cherished, they were weaponized, delivered faithfully to unseen forces, to those who conspired to keep you small, to break your spirit. Think back to those late-night conversations, the ones filled with murmured reassurances and shared confidences. You mistook them for sisterly devotion, didn't you? You felt seen, understood, loved. But the revelation reframes them with chilling precision: they were reconnaissance missions. She was taking inventory of your spirit's soft spots. Remember the times she wrapped a seemingly protective arm around your shoulders when you felt lost or afraid? Feel the phantom weight of it now, not as comfort, but as a chain, a subtle, insidious restraint meant to keep you close, manageable, docile. She was the keeper of your invisible leash, my beloved, and you, in your trusting innocence, never even felt its gentle, guiding pull towards despair. The heavenly host, the angels you sometimes imagined or prayed to, have watched this protracted betrayal unfold. Their grief isn't a quiet sorrow, it's a resonant agony, a thunder rolling silently in their celestial throats. They saw the pattern you couldn't. They understood the source of your recurring roadblocks. Did you never truly wonder, the whisper continues, probing gently into your bewildered heart, why your most fervent prayers seemed to evaporate into an indifferent silence? Why promising doors slammed shut with uncanny timing, just as your fragile hopes dared to take flight? It wasn't random chance. It wasn't your inadequacy. It wasn't divine indifference. She was the unseen architect of so many of those misfortunes. Her hand, seemingly loving, subtly steered you away from opportunities, towards pitfalls disguised as accidents or simple bad luck. That promotion you were perfect for, the one that inexplicably went to someone less qualified. Her subtle words of doubt planted in the right ears. That lover who ignited your soul, only to vanish without a trace, leaving bewildered heartbreak. Her whispers of poison, painting you in a false light. Those friends who suddenly grew cold, distant, their warmth replaced by inexplicable suspicion. Her fingerprints, invisible as the deadliest toxin dissolved in wine, linger on the edges of each tragedy. She moved through your life like a ghost, arranging failures, amplifying setbacks, ensuring your spirit never soared too high. And here is the truth that cuts deepest, the one that tastes like ashes and bile in your mouth. A part of her, a dark and hungry part, relished it. Each time you stumbled, each tear you shed, each hope that withered, it fed something hollow and starving within her own soul. It was a perverse validation, a secret triumph only she could savor. And now, after years of this clandestine sabotage, after carefully cultivating your dependence and ensuring your spirit remained tethered a broken bar, now she comes to collect. To call in a debt you never consciously incurred, a price set for your very existence before you even knew its value. Your spirit strains against this, bucking like a frightened horse. I see it, feel it, have a trembling that starts deep inside, the desperate cry forming in your throat. Why? Why would she do this? The question echoes in the hollow chambers of your betrayed heart, hurled into the empty night. The answer, when it settles, offers no comfort, only the bitter grit of generational curses and hidden bargains. It wasn't about you, not truly. Not about your worth or your flaws. It began before you. Because your very birth was entangled in someone else's sin. Perhaps a grandfather, desperate and reckless, wagered more than money in a shadowy game, pledging future collateral to men who dealt not in gold, but in flesh and souls. Or maybe a mother, cornered by fear or desperation, made a terrible bargain, sealing a pact with darkness before your first cry ever pierced the air, promising something precious in exchange for relief or protection, a promise whose payment was deferred to you. In this grim context, your sister was never truly your sister in the way you understood it. She was the warder, placed in your cradle not as family, but as an agent. Her primary task, woven into the fabric of her own compromised existence, was to shape you, guide you, subtly break you down, preparing you over years to become the perfect, unsuspecting sacrifice when the time came. Think about the family jokes that always seemed to land at your expense, chipping away at your self-worth. Remember the way she sometimes made you plead for scraps of affection, teaching you to feel unworthy, conditioning you to accept less than you deserved? These weren't accidental cruelties, they were rehearsals. Calculated exercises in diminishment, preparing you for the final transaction, the ultimate act of handing you over. And according to the grim schedule kept by those unseen creditors, the hour of payment has finally, irrevocably, arrived. But hold on to this, let it be the anchor in this storm of revelation. The shadows, the schemers, your sister, they miscalculated. They accounted for your pain, your trust, your potential despair. What they utterly failed to foresee, what she, in her dark certainty, never imagined, was this: you were never, not for one single moment, truly alone. The angels you doubted, the ones you thought were myths or metaphors, stood as silent sentinels around you. Their unseen wings were a shield, deflecting blows you never knew were aimed your way, softening falls that could have shattered you completely. The God you feared had abandoned you, the silence you mistook for absence? In that very silence, he was meticulously etching your name, your true, powerful, resilient name, into the very palm of his hand, a mark of ownership, of belonging, of unwavering love. Every act of cruelty intended to break your spirit was intercepted by grace and mysteriously tempered, forged into unexpected strength. Like steel hammered in fire, your resilience grew with each trial. Every betrayal, painful as it was, became an unintended lesson, sharpening your instincts, honing your discernment, teaching your soul to recognize truth even when it wore a convincing disguise. You learned to navigate darkness, even when you didn't realize you were walking through it. And now, precisely at the moment the trap is meant to snap shut, when all seems lost and the walls are closing in, heaven unveils its breathtaking counterstroke. The years of suffering were not just endurance, they were preparation. The pain was not pointless, it was transformative. She will come to you soon, likely tonight. Expect tears, a shimmering, beautiful tears like liquid silver, designed to evoke pity and guilt. Her words will be softer than velvet, laced with appeals to family, to loyalty, to shared history, speaking of troubles and debts we must pay together. Apostrophe, she will try to weave the old spell, the one that always worked before, the one that made you feel responsible, obligated, bound. But when she reaches for your hand, seeking to pull you into the final act of this dark play, look closely, beloved. Look with the eyes that have had the scales removed. You will see it then, perhaps not with your physical eyes, but with the clarity of your awakened spirit, the faint, unholy glow beneath her skin, the mark of the dark covenant she serves. And in that moment, you will face the choice the angels themselves cannot make for you. They can support, protect, illuminate, but the decision rests solely within your human heart, endowed with the sacred gift of free will. Will you follow her, drawn by the ghosts of affection and the chains of obligation, into the consuming darkness she represents? Or will you finally, fully, step into the glorious, hard-won destiny that has been forged for you in the very fires of your scars? The atmosphere will shift when she enters. A palpable chill will settle in the room, even if the heat is on. You might hear a chime, like a clock striking the midnight hour, though no clock hangs on your wall, a signal that a pivotal moment in the cosmic balance has arrived. She will likely call you by a childhood nickname, one laced with manufactured nostalgia, perhaps one you'd almost forgotten she knew, trying to regress you, to remind you of the innocent times before you understood. This is it. The moment the entire cosmos holds its breath. All the unseen forces, both light and dark, watch intently. Will you crumble under the immense weight of her poisoned love, the years of manipulation finally claiming their prize? Or will you stand? Not as the victim she groomed you to be, but as the living flame of truth, fierce and bright enough to burn away lifetimes of deception? Remember this when your knees feel weak, when the old affection whispers temptingly, the debt was never yours. It was hers, or her lineage's. Every tear you shed in confusion and pain has been meticulously recorded in heavenly ledgers. Every intricate lie she spun, every web of deceit she wove around you, now unravels in the stark, uncompromising light of this revelation. And when you find the strength, drawing on the divine power that has secretly sustained you all along, to speak the single, world-altering word burning in your spirit, the word "no," watch what happens. Feel it. The chains won't just fall from you, they will shatter. The invisible leash she held will turn to dust. The dark covenants hold on you will break utterly. But it won't stop there. In breaking your own chains, you initiate the unraveling of hers. For the very first time in her cursed, manipulated existence, your sister the warder, the agent, the unwilling pawn who perhaps forgot she was a pawn will know true, undiluted fear. Not the fear of her shadowy masters, but the terror of facing the consequences of her actions, the fear of the light she has so long avoided. And you? In that moment of refusal, that assertion of your God-given sovereignty, you will not feel relief, not immediately. You will feel something far more potent, power. True power. The power of choice, the power of truth, the power earned through fire. Now, gather yourself. Stand tall, even if you're trembling. Feel the warmth returning, the dawn breaking not just outside, but within your very soul. You are not the sacrifice. You are the survivor. You are the warrior forged in secret battles. Rise, warrior of the dawn. Your future is unbound. Your angels are beside you, no longer silent sentinels, but an honor guard, ready to witness your first steps into freedom. Your destiny awaits. Yes, rise. Feel the command not as a harsh order, but as an invitation echoing the deepest yearning of your own spirit. Rise from the ashes of your old understanding, from the dust of shattered illusions. This moment isn't just an ending, it's a cataclysmic beginning. Your future, moments ago seemingly a predetermined path leading towards sacrifice, is now an unbound territory, stretching before you with the infinite possibility of dawn. Look around you, not with your physical eyes, but with the inner sight that has been so painfully cleansed. See them as your angels. They are no longer just silent, grieving sentinels standing guard at a distance. They have drawn close. Their presence is palpable, a warmth like sunlight on your skin, a strength that bolsters your own trembling legs. They are an honor guard, yes, but more than that, they are active allies, shimmering with readiness, their faces turned towards you with expressions of profound relief and joyous anticipation. They have waited eons for this moment, for your awakening, for your choice. They are here to witness, to support, to celebrate your first breaths of true freedom, your first steps onto the path of your own making. Your destiny, the one written by the divine hand, not the one plotted in shadow, awaits your claim. Feel the shift in the very air around you. The cloying weight of deception, a spiritual smog you had become accustomed to breathing, has lifted. There's a clarity, a crispness, like the air after a thunderstorm has washed the world clean. The lingering chill from your sister's presence, the echo of her false words, begins to recede, replaced by the steady, unwavering warmth of divine love and angelic vigilance. Her fear, that raw, primal terror you glimpsed as the chains shattered, hangs momentarily in the space she occupied, a testament to the power of truth spoken aloud, before dissolving like mist. It serves as a stark reminder, the power she wielded over you was built entirely on lies, and lies have no substance, no endurance, when confronted by the light. Your power, the power you feel surging within you now, it's not aggressive, not dominating. It's the quiet, potent strength of sovereignty. It's the authority that comes from aligning with truth, from reclaiming your God-given agency. It's the power to define your own boundaries, to choose your own path, to say no to darkness and yes to light. It resonates from your core, a steady hum replacing the anxious static that used to fill your inner silence. This power doesn't seek to control others, it seeks only to control the self, to steer your own vessel according to the divine map now unfolding within you. But freedom, true freedom, is more than just the absence of chains. It is the presence of possibility. It is the space to heal, to grow, to build anew. The sabotage you endured for years wasn't just emotional and spiritual, it had tangible consequences. Think of the opportunities lost, the resources diverted, the financial setbacks that seemed to plague you like persistent bad luck. These were not accidents. They were part of the orchestrated campaign to keep you diminished, dependent, and ultimately, deliverable as payment for that ancestral debt. The curse wasn't just a spiritual binding, it manifested in the material realm, subtly draining your resources, blocking your prosperity, ensuring you never gained the independence that might allow you to escape the predetermined fate. Breaking the spiritual chains was the crucial first step, the decisive battle won. But now comes the work of rebuilding the kingdom, your life, in all its facets. This is where the partnership deepens. You are not expected to rebuild alone on scorched earth. The same divine power that orchestrated your revelation, the same angelic host that stands beside you now, is ready to assist in the restoration. The act of saying no was your assertion of will, your reclaiming of authority. Now, you are invited to use that authority to actively collaborate with heaven in reshaping your reality. This is where prayer becomes not just a plea, but a powerful act of co-creation. It's the alignment of your liberated will with the divine will for your flourishing. It's reaching out your hand, not to your betrayer, but to your Creator, and saying, I am ready. Let us rebuild this life together, according to your blueprint of abundance and purpose. Do not hesitate to bring the practicalities, the seemingly mundane concerns, into this sacred space. Your finances, your resources, your material well-being, these are not separate from your spiritual journey, they are integral to it. The enemy sought to control you through lack and limitation, using the tendrils of that old debt to choke your prosperity. Therefore, reclaiming your destiny must include reclaiming your rightful abundance. Asking for financial blessing is not an act of greed, it is an act of justice. It is decreeing the end of the curse's material manifestations. It is claiming the resources you need to live out the purpose God has etched into your being, the purpose your sister and her masters tried so desperately to prevent. You need resources to heal, to build, to bless others, to walk fully in the light without being hampered by the lingering shadows of manufactured lack. Consider the energy, the time, the emotional capital you expended navigating the obstacles placed in your path. Think of the lost income from that stolen promotion, the financial strain caused by engineered misfortunes. Restoration means addressing these things. It means asking the divine banker to audit the books, to cancel the illegitimate debts accrued through deception, and to release the assets held in escrow by grace. You are not merely asking for handouts, you are claiming reparations. You are stepping into the inheritance of a child of the King, an inheritance that includes provision, security, and the means to live generously and effectively. So, let the warrior spirit that rose within you now turn its face towards heaven. Let the power you feel become the foundation for your petitions. Let the knowledge of your inherent worth, finally unobscured, give you the confidence to ask boldly. You have faced the darkness head-on. You have chosen the light. You have spoken the word that shattered chains. Now, speak the words that will build your future. Speak the words that claim your full inheritance, spiritual, emotional, and material. Speak the words that invite the divine architect to draw the blueprints for a life of purpose, peace, and prosperity. The angels lean closer, ready to carry your petitions. Heaven awaits your voice. This is the next step in walking out your freedom. This is how you solidify the victory. This is how you ensure that the tendrils of the past cannot reassert their grip in new, subtle ways. Pray now, not as a victim begging for scraps, but as a sovereign warrior child decreeing the terms of your liberated life in partnership with the Almighty. Pray for the complete erasure of the old debt and its consequences. Pray for the floodgates of blessing to open. Pray for wisdom to steward those blessings. Pray, and watch as heaven responds. Your voice, once silenced by manipulation, now carries the authority of truth and the power of divine alignment. Use it. Here is a prayer, born from this moment, to help you articulate the cry of your newly freed spirit, their warrior's decree of liberation. Dear God of light, whose truth prevails, who saw my path, removed the veils, I thank you for the strength you gave, the rescuing hand, mighty to save. The scales are gone, I clearly see, your power rose inside of me. By Jesus' name, I now decree, all chains of darkness, broken be. The sisters lie, the hidden snare, the weight of sorrow and despair, the ancient debt, not mine to own, its power crushed, its hold overthrown. That curse extended, I now bind, to steal my wealth and peace of mind. Restore the finance, blocked and lost, repay the wicked, hidden cost. Let blessings flow, abundant, free, unlock my rightful prosperity. Grant wisdom, Lord, to walk anew, with discernment sharp, and vision true. Let angels guard my steps each day, and guide me on your righteous way. Protect my heart, my soul, my all, that I may stand and never fall. I claim the power you impart, a healed and whole and hopeful heart. My destiny, I now embrace, with joy and purpose, filled with grace. No longer victim, I will stand, securely held within your hand. With trusting faith, this prayer I seal, your love and restoration real. Thank you for battles you have won, my freedom claimed, my new life begun. In your strong name, let it be so, Amen. Now watch your blessings flow,